Welcome back, my fearless friends. I am MrFearless, and today we're back on Java Edition to show off something quite remarkable. And it's in this very unassuming world, as you can see right here. Doesn't look like much, just called world, but this contains the single biggest build I have ever worked on in Minecraft. So let's play it. You have to wait for it to load up a little bit, because it is quite huge. And there it is, right before us. Now don't mind me, just walking across what happens to be just the road, and you can't even barely see the ends of it. All the way up to this very nice building here, which happens to be, if anyone can recognize it, the Jedi Temple from Star Wars. It was depicted in a couple movies, the first 3 prequel movies, prominently in the 3rd one when Anakin climbed up these very steps with some clone troopers to kill every single Jedi in the temple. As you can see, it is quite massive. In fact, this was made by my good friend Jack, one of my oldest online friends, and it's about 1,600 blocks by 1,600 blocks in size, which is 87 chunks across. In fact, it's so big that it covers almost this entire map here, and this is the biggest map in the game. This is about 128 chunks across, and this is one building. So you can see it's a big square, and that's because that's exactly how it looks like in the movies. And he has built this all by hand, as well as with a couple of commands and a world edit, which we don't have with us today. And as you can see, he's put an immense amount of detail into it. Just the stairs alone, and the road walking up to it, look absolutely amazing. I think he just finished this section right here, this like embroidering that goes along the side. It's going to go around all 4 sides of the building. And walking up to the steps, you can see that it has quite a bit of detail here. There's a couple of pillars that stand in front of the temple's door, that's the front door of the building, with these figurines on it, as well as these gold statues that sit at the base of the stairs. Or at the top of the stairs, which is really cool. You can see, this is just me walking around at normal pace around this building. In fact, it's so big that we can't walk around it. We have to be in creative flight. You can see we got some little ponds here, some nice designs on the walls, and a lot of detail in the groundwork here as well that extends the full length of the building. And right over here between these pillars is actually the front door. So this is what it would look like if you were just walking around. Apparently there's a pig here, not sure why. And you would quickly come into the main hall of the building here. In fact, we have to switch the creative flight to fly all the way over here. You can see this is actually the main hall. It goes quite a bit in either direction. I believe he said it goes for most of the building in either direction. This is the main hall. In fact, in one of the movies, I forget which one, there's a scene with Yoda, Master Windu, and I think Obi-Wan Kenobi standing right up here looking down at it. As Yoda is sitting in his little chair and they're talking, walking across a bridge. And there's another scene, I think on the same bridge, where there are Jedi being slaughtered by clones and fighting to the death down here in this room, as this is the main entryway to the whole temple. And you might think, well, it looks pretty big, but how big is it really? And there really is no justification for how big it is. Other than we're going to take our time and go all the way from the edge of the building to the very center, because there's actually something really nice in the center. Keep in mind, we're still inside the building this whole time. You can't see the walls, because it's that big. Right here in the middle is a giant 4 cents of crystal. I'm not sure if that's still canon or not anymore, because Star Wars has changed quite a bit. He is a massive Star Wars fan. In fact, his head is the head of one of the characters in Star Wars, Jack the Clone, one of his favorite characters in the Star Wars Clone Wars TV show, which is actually getting its 8th season. I think on Disney Plus or something like that. I'll definitely be tuning into that, because it was one of my favorite shows as well, growing up. He's got this really cool head. He's got a whole Star Wars skin going on, when I just have this skin. He's got this whole detailed skin, it looks all cool, and then that's me. By comparison. So yeah, he's got this really big crystal here. Currently, it's 180 blocks tall, I think, from the bottom of the world all the way to the top. There's not much room down there, actually. It's pretty much bedrock right underneath that level. So this building is quite tall. And it has 4 big spires as well as a giant center spire here that will go all the way up to the world height limit. He actually wants to try to extend it above the world height limit. Did I just throw his head? Oops. He wants to extend this above the world height limit to make it even taller. So this thing is going to be ginormous when it's done. And there's plenty of space for rooms, as you can probably tell. And he's working on texture packs to texturize bookcases, so they look like the holographic bookcases as was seen in the second movie, The Attack of the Clones. When Obi-Wan Kenobi went to the Jedi Library, there was a lot of holographic bookshelves. He's worked on a texture pack, I think, that includes a texture for the bookshelves and stuff like that. So this place is going to look absolutely fantastic when it's done. And I've never been a part of anything bigger than this. I actually streamed this on my Twitch channel, which I might link in the description. I think right now we're going to do a little time-lapse of me walking around the whole building to show you how big it is and how much detail he's put into it, because again, you can't really see the size of this building.
This thing is absolutely massive. As you can see, the pawns eventually do stop a little bit, but that's because he needs to continue the same pattern, which will repeat all the way around it. And every quarter section is divided by these big, massive pillars in the center of each wall. And you can see here on the way back, on the rear end of the building, that it actually is open there, where he's going to put a helipad, which is going to look really, really nice. As you can see, it is missing a lot of the pawns and stuff, but that will come later, and that's pretty easy to implement. He just wanted to get some of the pawns in the front to show me what it's going to look like, and to you guys what it's going to look like. And I think it's going to look absolutely fantastic. This thing is so big, it actually took me 5 minutes and create a sprint flight to spin around the whole thing, which means it'll be really hard to traverse it by your land.
And as you can see, we're back at the beginning. Now, we're going to have to change some settings here, because of the clouds. Oops. They get a little bit messy here because the building's so tall. Like I said, he's going to go up to world height limit and probably even taller eventually. And it is entirely enclosed. He's got the roof and everything here. He's even got this cool little setup here. And he's marked out the centers of the build itself. So you can see over there, way in the distance, that's where the center tower is going to be. There's going to be 4 exterior towers. One was the Jedi Council, another one was... I can't remember. There's 4 towers, each with their own purpose, and then a center one where they keep the most secret Jedi archives. This can be on top of that giant crystal I showed before. As you can see, he covered this whole thing in blocks, and this is where you really get to see the scale of the build. Because right now it just looks like this is ground level, like this might be a sandstone flat world. But no, we're on top of the building at this point. There's the crystal. We can see how big this is. He actually rendered this all out in one command using World Edit, and he said it took him more than a full day of just letting his computer run the command in order to place all these blocks here. And it's only going to get more crazy as we go on, because eventually he's going to be outfitting all these rooms and all sorts of cool stuff into this build and making it feel like a real Jedi Temple. And he has done this all by himself, mind you. I have been a very, very tiny part of his work here. And he has done almost everything himself. In fact, all the design, all the work, all of it was done by him, and him alone. It's just a single-man project with me occasionally staying on help. And in fact, I do want to help. So I'm going to be taking the time every once in a while to stream with him and work on this project, and you guys can help us come up with ideas for this, actually. For the rooms, and for design choices, and different blocks we can use. Right now, it's all made of sandstone, because in the original movie, it was a little bit of gray look. But I think the sandstone really works well here, because sandstone has stairs and all sorts of different types of blocks to work with. So, yeah. This is it right here. This is the entirety of his build so far. It doesn't look like much, and there's not quite a bit to cover quite yet. But that's only because he's done a lot of the groundwork here, laying out the very samey parts of the build, and he still has quite a bit of work to do here. And I want to wish him the best luck in the world, because he has put so much effort in this build. It is absolutely astonishing. In fact, I've never ever been even a small part of anything bigger than this. And this isn't like a city or a bunch of different buildings. This is one massive complex that's going to be filled to the brim with all sorts of cool stuff. And I can't wait to see where he goes with it. And I can't wait to help him be a part of this big, big project he's been working on for 2 years now, actually. Since 2018, he told me. Check me out on Twitch. I will be occasionally streaming this world, showing it off. I've already shown it off once and helped him a little bit with it. And I have always promised him that I'd show this off. In fact, I knew about this build before I started my YouTube channel. And I told him one day I would show it off when he had something really cool to show. And he's finally got like this big bulk of the build done, and this really cool embroidering work all over it, and all this cool stuff that he really wants me to show off. And I'm really happy to be able to display all the progress he's made. I hope you have a great day today, and if not, there's always tomorrow. I'll see you then. Goodbye, everybody.